dual sport athlete. I've been playing sports since I was 4 years old, but I started with baseball. Behind me is pictures from my baseball career. Baseball was my first love, and I stuck with it until I was 10. For most of my childhood, I truly believed I was going to play baseball forever. But then something changed. The boys I had been playing with and competing against my whole life started to grow stronger, faster, and more athletic than me. It didn't happen gradually. It felt like it happened overnight. And just like that, reality hit. As a young girl, I realized I could no longer keep up physically. That's when my parents and I decided to make the decision to switch over to softball. Not because I liked the passion, but because it was no longer safe or fair for me to compete against the boys who had a clear biological advantage. Today, I want to talk about something I feel strongly about, not just as an athlete, but as a woman. I want to use both personal experience and science to explain why biological males should not be allowed to compete in women's sports, even if they identify as transgender women. Let's start with biology. According to multiple scientific sources, including adflegal.org, biological males consistently outperform biological females in nearly every sport. Let me just share a couple examples. Males have a 60 to 100% greater arm strength than females, 25 to 60% greater leg strength. They can run 10 to 15% faster in sprints and have a 162 greater punching power. And here's the key. These differences show up even before puberty, sometimes as early as the age of 3. Even after puberty blockers or testosterone suppression, many of these advantages remain. One study showed that 12 months of hormone treatment, a male still only had a 7% decrease in hand strength. Another study showed that even after 2 years of a treatment with trans-identifying males, they were still running 15% faster than biological females. Now, let's talk about fairness. These biological advantages matter, especially in competition. Women work their whole lives to be the best at their sport, and it is simply unfair when a biological male, who was not dominant in the men's division, enters the women's category and dominates. A widely known example of this is Riley Gaines. According to SwimmingWorldMagazine.com, Riley was an elite swimmer. At one meet, she tied with a transgender athlete, biologically male, for 5th place. But when it came time for the photo, only the transgender athlete was allowed to hold the trophy. Riley was told by an NCAA official that the trans athlete had to hold it for the picture. That's not equality, that's deletion. And Riley's story isn't the only one. There are countless female athletes across the country losing opportunities, titles, and even scholarships because of this issue. Now let me bring this back to my own story. When I moved into the 10U division in baseball, it became clear that the boys were faster, stronger, and more athletic. It wasn't because of the lack of effort on my part. It was biology. Continuing to play baseball at that point could have put me at risk of injury, so I switched to softball. Today, I am proud to say I'm going on to play Division I softball, but I'm also very aware I could have never gone D1 in baseball. Not because I wasn't good, but because of the inherent differences between men and women. Now, I know some people say sports should be inclusive, and I agree. Everyone should have a chance to play, but inclusion should never come at the cost of fairness or safety. According to BBC.com, women's sports were created to give women a level playing field. Allowing biological males to compete in these divisions takes us backwards. That's why I believe we need 3 categories: men's, women's, and a transgender division. That way, everyone has a place to compete fairly and no one's opportunity is taken away. In conclusion, I want it to be very clear. Yes, transgender individuals should be able to play sports, but women's sports is not the right place for these biological males to compete. The science is clear, the stories are heartbreaking, and the consequences are real. I encourage you to do your own research. Look into the stories of female athletes who have lost opportunities because of this issue. And think about the girls, like me, who grew up in sports, chasing dreams with everything they had. I'll leave you with this. I'm a pretty good softball player. I'm proud of what I've achieved, but there is no way I could have done the same in baseball. Not because of effort or mindset, but because biology matters. Thank you.